Hey, hello, welcome back everyone. This is the seventh video of the Power Pages 30 Days Learning Challenge. If you are new to this learning series, this is the new initiative I took this new year, where I just want to discuss all the topics related to the Power Pages from the basics to advanced. And my main agenda is to cover all the stuff related to the portals from designing, from its architecture, security topics, administration, monitoring of it and the deployment. Okay, so we have already covered the sixth video till now, and today we're gonna discuss about the multi-step forms in the Power Pages. So if you haven't watched my previous video, I'm going to put the link in the description, so you can just go and check that out, the playlist. So it's very important that you cover all the previous video as well before just directly switch it to the multi-step forms. Okay. Now, what is multi-step form basically? Multi-step form, as the name also indicates, it is basically the form that consists of multiple steps. Okay, so sometimes, when you have to fill up the data in the forms, you need to provide your information in the multiple sections or in the multiple steps or in the multiple forms. So in that case, you have to use the multi-step forms. So we already have the basic form that we have discussed, but what is the basic difference between the basic forms and the multi-step forms? So basic form is basically linked to a single table. So for example, if I have to expose a form of the contact table, if I have to expose the form of the opportunity or the lead or the account table, so that then in that case we have to use the basic form, and it can only be stick to a particular table. So if I have to link my basic form to the multiple tables, so that is not possible. I have to create the multiple basic forms for that. Okay, and each basic form will be linked to the different tables. But if you have the requirement that you want to fill the data and you want to link your form with the multiple tables, or you want to display the forms in the form of multiple steps as I have depicted in this picture also, so then you have to go with the multi-step forms. Okay, so multi-step forms allow you to create a form with the multiple steps. It actually collect the user input through the multiple forms that use the different components. So sometimes on a single form, let's say you have created the multi-step form that consists of five different forms, and in the one form you are exposing the table called contact table. In the second form, you are displaying the account table. In the third form, you are displaying the lead table. So it's like that. You can display different tables forms in the different steps. Using multiple step form, you can bind the forms of multiple tables, right? Unlike So obviously, if you are filling up the data and you have to, fill up the data in the multiple steps or in the multiple forms, it actually guides you like on which particular steps are you. So as you can see in the picture, like I have completed one or two steps. Right now, I am on the third step, and fourth and fifth step yet to be completed, right? So it just give you the progress of your form fill up process. So there are different types of progress indicators that you also can use it. So we're going to have a look into that when we go going to the practical implementation. So there are different types of progress indicators as well. It provides the conditional or dynamically change the flow of the steps based on the user input. So there might be the possibility that you are on the first step and you directly switch it to the third step based on some condition. So that is also possible. So you can just switch the user from one step to another step based on some conditions as well. So that is also the possibility. Session tracking, that is also very important property of the multi-step form. So it actually allows you. So for example, like you have a long form or multiple steps to fill up, and you just fill the five steps and close the browser or close your portal in between, or just logging out, and you just want to fill the rest of your information or the rest of the forms on the another day, right? So what you can do is you can just simply enable this setting so that you can start filling the forms from the same step where you left off. Okay, so that is also very important tracking, that actually track your sessions, and it actually stores your session in the Dataverse from where you have filled up the form. And the last thing, like there are a couple of examples I can give it to you so that you can imagine like where we can use the multi-step forms, but obviously it depends on your requirement as well. So visa application form. So when you have to apply for a visa for any country, you have to provide your details in the multiple forms, right? You have a lot of steps to apply for a visa. You have the payment option. You have to upload your documents. You have to schedule your appointments, right? You have to provide all your past journey experiences, your family details, your passport details. So you have to provide all your details in the multiple steps. Job application form, when you are submitting your or applying for a job, or you're updating your profile, you have to provide a lot of informations like your personal profile, personal details, your professional details, your past experience, your project details, or you have to upload your documents, and a lot of things are there, right? So you have to provide the details in the multiple steps. When you are applying for a college or any university, then that enrollment form is also, have the multiple steps. So there could be multiple examples. So I just collected few of the examples just to, let you know like what kind of some real-time scenarios where we can, choose the multi-step forms. But we also gonna have a practical implementation where you can understand like what are the different properties are there of the multi-step forms and how we can use them. All right. So this is the Power Apps Maker portal. So the installation and all the designer studio related stuff I already discussed. So I'm not gonna discuss the same stuff today. So if you just wanted to check out my last video, I've already told you like how to create a trial instance, and how the this each and individual apps looks like and what is the significance of it. So basically when you install a portal in your Power Platform environment, you get to see two apps. One is portal app and the second is model driven app, and both the app is basically used to design the portal. Okay, so one is basically provide you the low code no code website experience. So and and the portal management is basically for the advanced features. Okay, so all the features right now is not there. It is not there in the Power Pages Designer Studio. So Microsoft is still, adding those features in the upcoming releases. So until then, you can use the portal management for some advanced features as well. So we're gonna have a look like what are the capabilities we have in the Power Pages Designer Studio and what are the capabilities we do not have in the Power Pages Designer Studio. So we have to go to the portal management app. Okay. But the agenda, or sorry, the objective of both the app is basically to design the portal. Okay. All right. So there are basically three personas: organizers, speakers, and the participants. Organizer who can organize the events, or and the participant who will register for the events, and the speakers who can submit their sessions. Okay. Now this portals can be for organizing the trainings, boot camps, the learning challenges, and all sort of events that we organize. Okay. So we already created a forms called publish event. So this basically forms this is the form basically used to publish the events to the community. So it is basically a basic form. So as I told you, like basic form can be linked to a single table. So publish event is the form that is linked to the publish event table that I've already created in the Dataverse. View events is basically the list. So whatever events I have published, if I want to display the list of all the events, that I can see it in the list component. And today we're going to discuss about the multi-step forms. Okay. So multi-step forms I'm going to use for the speakers. Okay, so those who want to submit their sessions, there could be the Microsoft MVPs, MCTs. If they want to conduct the trainings, so they can simply visit the website and they can submit their sessions or submit their proposals. And there should be a team who will review their sessions, whatever information they have submitted. And based on the feedback, like if they approve the session, they will notify, and they can then start doing the trainings. Okay, so what I've done is I've already created a table just to save the time. I'm not going to create a new table and set up all the attributes there. So I've already set up a tables for you. So in order to see like how my table or my data model structure look like, I don't need to navigate away from the Designer Studio. I can straight away go to the data workspace. So this data workspace basically gives you the flexibility that you can manage your Dataverse or your data model just within the Power Pages Designer Studio. Because in the earlier version, your portal management app and your Dataverse are totally different thing. You have to come to the makers portals and you have to open the solutions in order to start creating your data model, your tables, your designing your forms or views. So both were different apps. But here all the components are stick together within the designer studio. So you can do the designing also and you can do the data modeling also. So this is the data workspace basically. So I am using these tables. So whatever tables I'm using in my Power Pages designing, it automatically comes on the top. And whatever tables, if I'm not using it here, it will comes in the other tables. All right. So account table I'm already using, contact I'm using, feedback I'm using. So this is the table that I've created just now. Call for speaker. So call for a speaker is basically used to hold the sessions of all the speakers. So whatever speakers are submitting their session from the portal, they will simply come to the portal and they will submit their session. OK, one more interesting fact I just wanted to show you. You may have this question if you are familiar with the Dynamics background, that if all these tables I'm creating, what is the solution that I have to use it? So in order to decide the solution to hold all your components that you are creating, because that components could be your custom components. So for example, these two tables are my custom tables and these three tables I'm using out of box, right? So there could be some out of box component and there could be some custom components that you are using or customizing to design your Power Pages component. So you have to choose the solution as well, right? So if you can just click on this gear icon, you get the option called set a solution. OK, so right now I don't have any solution. So all my components are creating by default in the default solution. OK, but it's always a good practice that you first create a solution, then you have to choose from this list so that whatever components you are creating should be lie under that particular solution. OK, but just for the demonstration purpose, I'm not going to create any solution here. So I'm just using the default solution. But if you are doing the practical implementation, if you are in the development environment, that I will always recommend to create a solution. So you cannot create the solution directly from here. You have to go to the makers portal here, go to the solution. OK, and you can create a new solution from here. So whatever solution you are using, whether you want to keep a single solution for your CRM development or portal development, or you want to keep the different solutions for your CRM and the portal development. So it's up to you. It's up to your project planning. OK, so but you have to always remember that you have to choose the solution before start creating your components. Otherwise, it will automatically be shifted to the default solution. OK, so Power Guide call for a speaker. This is the table that I have created. And if I just go to the forms, this table has a lot of attributes I have created. OK, and I just grouped all the attributes in the form of multiple tabs. So I've already created a form in the Dataverse called portal call for a speaker. So if I just head over to this form and open this form, I have created a lot of tabs here. So let's quickly load this form. OK, and if I just zoom out this, now you can see here there are a lot of tabs I have created and grouped all the fields under that particular tab. So I've created five tabs. Speaker profile, so where a speaker can provide their basic details like their name, like their company email, company name, domain expertise, their job profile. OK, what is their current role, and social media details section. They can provide their social media details, session details. So this is the must have information. They need to provide the event for which they want to submit their event or the session. So session title, description, and if they want to upload the profile image that they want to display it onto the banner. Speaking experience, if they just wanted to share, so this is an optional setting I have created. So if they just wanted to share some past experience, so it will help us to review their session. OK, and then finally is the document part. So if they want to upload the slide deck that they're going to use for the training purpose or for the event demonstration. So that's why I just created a sample data attributes here. Now we have to see like how we can display this particular form on the portal in the form of multi-step form, right? Because here I'm expecting that the user should provide the details in the multiple in the multiple steps. Now there could be multiple examples of the multi-step forms. In this demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm using the same form. Okay, so I've created a single form, and in this form, I have multiple tabs. Okay, so this is also one of the example of the multi-step form where a single form and the multiple tabs I can display it in the multiple steps. Another example, you can also also do it by yourself, that you can create the multiple forms as well of the same table. So let's say I have a table called portal call for speaker, and you can create multiple forms for this particular table and use all those forms for the individual steps on the multi-step form. So that is the second example. The third example I can give it to you. You can create the multiple forms for the different tables and use those forms as a multi-step form. So that is also a possible way. So anyway is fine. But just for the demonstration purpose, I am going to use the same form and going to use all the tabs in the multiple steps. OK, so let's head over to the pages because we have to create a new placeholder where we're going to display the multi-step form. So our data model is ready. Our table is ready. Now we have to create or do the portal configuration. All right. So I'm just create a new page here and let's call this page call for a speaker. And I just want to show this page under the main navigation and just want to give with the just want to go ahead with the basic template. So just click on add. So my page is created under the main navigation. Now I have to choose the multi-step form here and whether I have to create a new multi-step form or I have to choose any existing multi-step form. So I'm going to create a new multi-step form here. So let's say it's a call for speaker. All right. So this is the new form I'm going to create here. And here we have a couple of settings, whether you want to show the progress indicator. So this basically show the progress of your form filling process. So as I already demonstrated you in the slide deck as well, but we're going to show it in the live example as well. So I'm just turning on this option, allowing multiple entries per person. This basically allows the end users or the customer to submit the form multiple times, right? Sometimes we don't want the user to submit the same details again and again. So we can just turn off this option. But if we don't want to restrict the end user, then we can just enable the setting. So let's keep this setting on and just click on OK. So as soon as I create the form has been created, but you cannot see anything here. Same like the basic form, because in the basic form, when you create the basic form, you have to choose the table, you have to choose the form straight away while creating the basic form. But since multi-step form itself is nothing, it is basically the collection of multiple steps. So unless you configure the steps in that, then you will not be able to use the multi-step forms features, right? So there are two options here. Either you can directly create the steps from here, or you can go to the portal management app and click on the multi-step form from the left panel. And whatever form I have just created, you can just open that. Now, why I'm recommending to create all the steps or configure your multi-step forms from the portal management app, because all the settings are not there still in the Designer Studio. So if I click here to add the basic step, you can only choose the table here and you can choose the form here. So there is the capability right now to choose the form here. There is no capability right now in the Designer Studio to choose the tab. OK, but I want that I want to expose the tab of the form in the form of steps, but that capability is not there in the Designer Studio. That's why I'm just heading over to the portal management tab. And here you can find some additional settings as well. OK, soon these settings will be shifted to the Designer Studio as well. So it doesn't make sense like I can explain the few settings only. I want to explain all the settings or the properties that we already have here. OK, so the name we have already provided, website it's attached to, start step. So we're going to create our first step soon. Authentication required. So whether you want to, allow this form only for the authentication user, then you can just enable this option. But I just want to turn this setting to no, because anyone can submit their details just for the demonstration purpose. Start a new session on load. So this is basically about the session tracking that I just discussed about in my slide deck. So if you just start new session on load, so if you turn this setting to no, then that means your session will be stored in your Dataverse. So every time when you are leaving the form or closing the form, you can start filling your details from the same step where you left off. OK, but if you just turn this setting to yes, that means every time when you load the page, then it will start from the step one only. OK, multiple records per permitted. That means, you can submit the details multiple times. This is the settings expired state code and the status code. So this settings basically ensure whether you are allowed to edit your multi-step form data. OK, so let's say you have exposed the multi-step forms and the don't want user to update that details. You don't want user to update the session details if it is already approved or rejected. OK. So what we can do is we can provide the combination of the state code and the status code. OK, so let's say if it is approved, so the state code is basically only two, active and then inactive. So I can provide the active status code to 0. And I need to check like what is the status code here. So if I go to the Designer Studio, go to the data space, and I already have the status code available here. So if I drag it to the right, so I already have the status reason available here. So if I click here, edit column. So any table, whether it's a custom table or the out of box table, it has two additional fields called state code and the status code. So this is my status code field. And if I go down, I have a couple of options here like submitted, under review, approved, and rejected. So by default, it has some other values, but you can anyways customize that. But you cannot customize the state code. OK, so status code you can anyways add or remove the value as per your business need. So let's say this is the approved one. So if I just copy this value here and just paste it over here. OK, so this is about the state code, and state code will always remain same for any entity. So if I click status, so this is my state code attribute, and it always has two values that I cannot change, active and inactive. So when when the details which is submitted from the portal status is active, that means 0, and the status code is approved, then I don't want allow user. I don't want that user can update their details, and I want to display this edit expired message. You are not allowed to update the details as your session has already been approved. All right. So this is kind of message I can simply provide them so that they'll not be able to update their details. So for this demonstration purpose, I'm just going to, insert the data. I'm not going to show you the edit data. So I'm just removing this option for now. But if you are doing your practical implementation, if you are doing in the live portal implementation, then you can just remember these settings. Progress indicator, as I told you, just to show the progress of it, and it has basically three types of progress indicator, whether you want to display the title. So by default, if you choose the title, then automatically it takes the name of your step that you are using as a title. And if you just want to show the numeric step that I have shown you in the slide deck in the form of numbers, like step 1, step 2, and step 3. Progress bar is basically show you the percentage of the form filling progress. So let's say if you are if you have the 10 steps and you have filled up 5 steps, so it will show you the 50% form has been filled up. OK, so it will simply show you the progress bar in terms of percentage. All right. And these are the some of the settings that you can also append it to that. Save changes warning is basically ensure that you are not leaving the page without saving the data to the Dataverse. So if you are anyways leaving the page, you can enable this setting so that you can display the warning message you have configured here. OK, so that if your user filled up the particular form and they just want to close the form, you can give them the warning that you have not saved your data yet. Would you like to continue or you want to save the data? So this kind of settings you can enable here. OK, so these kind of basic settings we have. Let's directly create our step one. So start step. So let me create a first step here. Now, when I create a new step here, I have the option whether I want to load the form in this step, or I want to load the tab, or I want to redirect the user to a different a page, or I have some conditional steps here. OK, so that options we don't have right now in the Power Pages Designer Studio. So that's why I just directly came to this portal management tab. So since I want to load the tab, as I already told you, like in the table, if I go to the call for a speaker, if I open the form, I have multiple tabs. So in this example, I want to display the steps in the form of tabs. So let me open the tabs so that I can copy the same a label on the multi-step form as well. Let me open this. So this is going to be our first step. Speaker profile. Go here, paste it here. Now this is the tab actually. So I just want to load the tab and which tables is belong to. So it's a power guide call for a speaker. So this is my table. And move previous permitted is basically ensuring like whether you want whether you allow user to go to the previous step, because if you are allowing user to fill the details in the multiple steps, you want to show the next and the previous button so that they can simply go back to the previous step to edit anything. So this basically setting ensure that thing. Enable table permission is by default checked so that you are ensuring that the security is enabled. The next setting you have to do is in the form definition. So you want to insert the data. So you have a couple of options whether you want to edit the data, you want to display some data in the read-only format, but we want to take the user input and just submit it to the Dataverse. So we're going to take the form mode as insert. Our form name is portal call for speaker, and the tab name that we're going to display here in the first step is a speaker profile. All right. And the rest of the details we're not going to touch here. Just save the record and just go to the next step. Click on the new form step again. So always remember whenever you create a new step, OK, it automatically auto populate the previous step. So you have to just remove it manually just to avoid any sort of issues. So the second step I'm going to take here is the social media details. So let me copy it here. All right. And then multi-step form is basically call for a speaker. I want to load the tab here and my table name is call for speaker. This will remain same. Insert mode, call for speaker and social media details. All right, save this details. Again, I'll create a new form step here and then I have to remove it manually. OK. Go to the third step, session details. So this is going to my third step here. Paste it over here. My form is multi-step form. Load the tab. Call for speaker. OK. Form definition, insert mode, call for speaker, and the session details. So we have created 3 steps. Save this. Now again, we're going to create a new step here. And this is going to be the speaking experience. Copy this. Multi-step form. Load the tab. Call for speaker. Form definition, call for speaker, and the experience. All right, so our 4th step is done. The last step is going to be about document. where we allow user to upload their slide deck or any training related documents here. So document, let me keep this document only. OK, type the load tab, come here, call for the speaker, insert mode and call for a speaker. And the last is the document. All right. So finally, I have created all the steps and each step I have taken the type as tab. But it's up to you that what you want to load in a particular step. As I told you, you can load the form of the different tables. You can choose the table from here and you can just select the option load form. So by using that, you can load different tables form in the different steps. OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to the multi-step forms and link all the step one by one. So the start step is going to be my speaker profile. Save this. If I click on the start step, the next step is going to be my, I think, social media details. Yeah, save this. If I go to the social media details, the next step is going to be my session details. Save this. And then session details. After that, my next step is going to be my speaking experience. And then the next step is going to be my document, right? So the last is the document. Save this. Now, once I'm on the document step, I don't need to go to the another step. So this is going to be my final step. But I cannot say it's a bug, but sometimes there is some scripting issue on this form. So always make sure when you are on the last step. So this is just one important message you can consider as per my personal experience that whenever you create the multi-step form and you are on the last step, then always make sure that your next step should be blank, right? Because you are not going to provide any sort of steps after that. Otherwise, if you choose any step here mistakenly, then it will goes in the infinite loop. OK, so probably when this all the properties will be available in the designer studio, then probably this kind of issues will not be there. But until you are using this portal management app to configure your portal management studio, sorry, your multiple step form, you have to make sure the last step, next step should be blank. All right. So I have configured my multi-step form. So if you can just go to your multi-step form, just wanted to review all the steps are correctly configured. You can click on form steps from here and you can see I have configured 5 steps here. All right. Let me head over to the portal management designer studio, click on the pages and you can see here my all the steps will be loaded shortly. See, so now you can see here all the form, all the tabs have been auto populated here automatically. And here you can see the list also in the form of the tabs in the multiple tabs. Let me sync the changes here. Sync changes is mandatory before you want to view the just changes on the portal. So click on preview desktop. All right, so I've just logged into the portal. OK, so I'm not logged into the portal. So obviously I'm going to get the issue like you don't have appropriate permission. So I've just enabled this form only for the logged in user or the authenticated user. So this settings is basically ensuring that no anonymous user can access this details. So click on sign in, click on Azure AD. OK, so now I can access my form and it has the progress indicator like this. Now you may have the question like how the different types of progress bar looks like. So so right now I have just opted as a title. So if I go here, I just opted the progress bar type is title type. So by default, all the step name is coming as a title. But if I want to change it to numeric type, so if I save this record, sync my changes. So then now it will display the progress indicator in the form of the numeric number. based on the number of steps I have configured. Okay, so if I just click on the desktop, so now you can see you are on the step 1 right now. So based on how many number of steps you have filled up, it actually increment the number. All right. So the last one I can also show you that how it looks like. So if I choose the progress bar, save it again, design it, review it. So now it shows the percentage of the form filled up process. OK, so if I filled this form, then it will automatically fill like 1%, 10%, 20%, and based on that. So once you submit all the data, then it will be 100%. OK, now one more settings here I want to show you. I just wanted to show the title only, but I want like along with the title, I also want to show the number of steps as well. So I can prepend the step number here. OK, so and save the record. So this will be basically ensure it will show the title along with the number of the step as well. So click on sync and then click on the preview. So sometimes if this process takes time to sync your changes to the portal, that I'm going to show you one more way as well to clear your cache. So now you can see here the title is there along with the numeric number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's fill up the details here just to see how the multi-step form submissions look like. So I'm just providing random details here. Company email, Capgemini, domain expertise. I can choose Power Platform, job role architect. All right. Now I have the option called speaker profile. So speaker profile is basically I want to link the logged in contact with my submission, right? So that if I'm submitting the details, it automatically associate with the logged in user. So the logged in user is basically stored in the contact table. And this session details is going to be stored in the call for speaker table. So both tables are different. And if I talk about in the terms of Dataverse, if we have to link both the table, we need to create the relationship. So I've already created a relationship here. So a lookup I have created. So either I can provide the option to the user that they can choose their name from the list. So as you know, like this is the contact lookup because contact is basically used to store the logged in user details. So if I click here, I can provide the option that user can choose their contact record from here. OK, but how can I ensure that user can choose only or see only their contact record? Because contact table can have multiple contacts in your organization, but you don't want allow user that they can select any of the contact record. They can only see the logged in contact record here. So we can manage this using permission here. So if I click on the setup and if I go to the table permission, so if you can see here, for contact table, I have given the self privilege to the user. So this is my contact table. And in the contact table, the access type I have given is the self access. So self access is basically ensure that the logged in user can only access their logged in contact record only. They cannot access the other contact details. OK, so that's why I'm right now if I'm opening the lookup, if I'm just heading over to the lookup, it only opens my contact record. It doesn't display the list of other contacts. So this is the one way I can choose from here. But it's up to the user. If you are leaving this up to the user, that user has to choose this data. It will always be the problem that if the user keeping it as a blank, then this record will not be linked to your logged in contact. So it's always a good idea that can we auto populate these details and restrict user to fill up that data. So what we can do is, since this setting is on the step 1, so we'll go to the multi-step form, open my first step, and in the form option, I think it's in the form definition only. If I go down, there is an option called associate current portal user. OK, so I just enable this setting, but I have to provide the column name as well, where I want to associate the current portal user. So if I click on this drop down, I have to choose that column name, that is speaker profile. So this setting will ensure that their logged in contact details will automatically auto populate in this field. Okay, but just wanted to give a quick highlight about that, that this will not auto populate the logged in contact details on the load of the form. It will always auto populate on the save of the data. Okay, so if I save this and if I go back here, sync the changes. So by if I'm just loading the form, then it doesn't auto populate that. So if I click on preview, so now you can see here, if the form is loading, the speaker profile is not auto populated with the logged in user. So what I'm going to do is I'll first fill up some of the information here and we'll save the data. OK, so I'm just providing the company details, domain expertise, probably the Power Pages, job role is business analyst, speaker profile. I'm not going to provide here. Click on next. So that when you click on next, your first step data has been saved in your Dataverse. OK, so now your first step is done. So the check marks is checked. Now you're on the second step. So let's go back to previous step to check whether the speaker profile has been automatically auto populated or not. So if you go to the previous, now you can see my logged in details has been automatically popped up. OK, so from the user experience perspective, you can also hide this particular control or the field from the form so that user don't see this unnecessarily. Otherwise, they can change that or they can keep it blank as well. So you can run this particular logic in the background by keeping this field hidden on the form. All right, but just to let you know the functionality or the feature of this property, I just wanted to display that column on the form. OK, click on next. I'm on the speaker profile details, so I'm just randomly provide some details like LinkedIn. So since I have created this column in the Dataverse of type URL, so whatever text I'm typing here, it automatically converting it to the URL. So I'm just copying here. Okay, so I think it's clicked. OK, now I'm just pasting the same URL. Providing my website URL. OK, and just click next. So now I'm the session details. Now here I have to choose the event for which particular event I want to submit my data. Now here I want to display all the event details because here I don't want to put any sort of security. So here for the event table, so that is my, I think, publish event table. So for event table, I have provided the global access because I don't want to restrict user to perform anything. I don't want to restrict the user actually to read the data. So that's why I can see all the data here. So let me choose the Power Pages training and I want to provide the title here. So let's say I'm just providing Power Pages 30 days learning challenge. Copying the same to the description. And I can provide the profile image as well. So, once the session is submitted and you have to, share your, session details or your banner to the social media, then you can just display your profile image there. So let me choose the profile image. Let me choose this one for now and click on next. Now on the speaking experience, so let me provide some random value. I have 10 plus years speaking experience. OK, click next. OK, now on the document step. Now here I can attach the slide deck. So there's always we have decided whether we want to keep this field as a mandatory or not. If you anyways try to submit the details without providing the mandatory information, then you will get the notification or the error message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose and upload probably any. So I'm just randomly selecting any option here and submit the details. So my data has been submitted. And if I go here and go to the data and click on the call for a speaker, if you can see there is a new entry here, the recent entry, I think this one, our pages training, I guess. I think this is the one. I think this one. OK, last one. So if I open this record in the Dataverse, you can see all the details has been captured now. Speaker name, speaker profile, social media details, session details. My profile image is also set it as an entity image as well. Speaking experience, the document has I've just randomly uploaded the XLS. So, you can also decide that as well, like whether you want to upload the document in the SharePoint or in the Microsoft Dataverse. I always recommend to store it in the SharePoint. So just stay tuned because in my upcoming session, I'm going to show you how you can integrate your portal with the SharePoint as well, so that you can directly upload your all the documents there just to save the database space. All right. Okay, so there is one more setting I just wanted to show you quickly. So let's say you have created all these steps. So let me go to the call for a speaker again. So let's say on the document step, you want to have a one more step, review and confirm, so that whatever data you have filled up from step 1 to the step 5, you can just review all the changes, right? If you want to edit that, you don't need to go to the just keep on pressing next, 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 or previous, 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 just to edit the details or verify the details. So I need to have a final screen where I can review all the details that I filled up from one step to the 5 step. So to do that, I'm going again to the form here. And so because I want to create a last step, so let me go to the first of all multi-step form. So form steps, and this is my last step, the document step. So now the document is the last step, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another step, and that is going to be my last step. And I just keep the name review and confirm. All right. And just removing the next step because this is going to my last step. And here the multi-step form is the same, but instead of loading the tab here, I am going to load the form, right? So whatever I have filled up all the information, I want to load the complete form in the last step so that you can review the change, you can edit the details, and you can submit the information. So here I'm going to choose the load form, and the table will remain same. It's a call for a speaker. You can imagine like what kind of flexibility I have in the multi-step forms, whether I have to choose the tabs or I have to choose the form. So it's up to me. OK, now go to the form definition. I want to edit the details here because here I'm not going to insert the data. Here I want the user to review the change and update the changes. So I'm just taking this form mode to edit. My form is going to be called for a speaker. And I don't want to display any specific tab here, so I'm just keeping it blank and just go to the form resource, because if I've taken the form mode as a edit mode, I have to give the unique identifier information as well. So it's going to be the query string. The parameter will be the ID as a unique identifier, and the attribute is going to be the this unique identifier attribute. So this setting will ensure that your form is going to be open in the edit mode. All right, so click on general, save this record. Again, I go to the form step and document just to make sure that the next step is tagged to it. So now my next step is going to review and confirm. Save and close, go back to my Designer Studio, sync the changes, and then preview it. All right, so I need to fill the information again. So I'm just providing the same details again, probably Power Pages, job role, click on next. profile, website URL with Power Guide. Next. Session details, need to choose Microsoft Azure Bootcamp. Title, just checking this, just copying the same thing. Choose profile. Again, I can choose the profile probably. Okay, I'm just choosing this for now. Click on next. Pasting the same thing. Next. Okay, so attaching the slide track. I'm just uploading my image just for now. Click on next. Now the magic begin, and we are on the review confirm. So when you are on the review confirm, you can see whatever information I filled up from step 1 to step 5. I can see it in a single form here. Speaker name, this was my first step. Okay, I think there is some setting mistake is there. So let me go to the step again. Review and confirm. I think there is some issue is there. So let me verify the changes here. Review and confirm, load form definition. Call for speaker, query string. All right, what issue is there? I think it's good that we can investigate the issue right away from here as well. That why is okay. Let me go to the previous. Okay, so it's only showing one form. Interesting. Okay, go back again. Let me see what configuration mismatch is there. So this is my first form where I'm displaying the tab. Second step, session details, then speaking experience. Then we have the document, and in the load tab, we have the review and confirm. All right, this is also fine. Perfect. Then go to the review and confirm. I think we have the right form, load form, call for the speaker. Next tab. Yeah. Form definition. It's going to be in the edit mode. Call for a speaker, tab name. Okay. I think I mistakenly choose this option. So this option basically ensure that if you have choosing the form option on the step, then it doesn't display all the tabs in the one go. Okay, so if you can see here, I have opted the load form, but I mistakenly choose this option auto generated steps from tab. So this option basically doesn't load the complete form. It actually load the forms in the multiple steps. Okay, that's why when I'm on the last step, it is again showing the next. Why? Because it will display all the tabs of this form in the multiple steps. So I need to turn off this option to make it working like I'm expecting. So save this record. Sync back the change. I think it's good that we got the issue so that you got to know about that setting as well, that you need to always uncheck that option if you are loading the form on the step. Okay, otherwise it will automatically load the one tab at a time. So preview the change again. Hopefully the magic should happen now. All right, so we are on the review and confirm. Now you can see the complete form is displayed on the final step so that you can simply update the details here. You don't need to go to the previous step or the individual step to update the details, and you can edit the details straight away from here, confirm the details, and then simply submit it. Okay, so this is about the multi-step form. One more setting, if you just wanted to just check it related to the session tracking. So if I'm just providing the details here, and let's say I'm going to the next step, and whatever information I've just filled up here, so whether it's tracked or not. So if I go to the next step, so let's say I have filled two steps here, and I don't want to fill up the rest of the information. I just want to close the browser, and the rest of the details I'm not sure right now, so I'm going to fill it tomorrow. All right. So what I'm going to do is I can either close this. Okay, but I'm not going to close this. I'm going to open this URL or the portal login in the incognito mode, so that I can show you that if I try to open the same form, whether it is start from the step one or it starts from the same step where I left off. All right. So I'm just logging it again on the portal. Okay, let me go to the portal, sign it again. Now, if I click on the call for a speaker, you can see I am directly on the step 3. I don't need to start my form filling process from the step 1. So this is basically the advantage you can get it when you configure the session tracking setting. So this is the tracking, the start new session on load. I turn off this session. That's why I started the form filling process where I left off. All right. So that's it. This is about the today's session. So we discussed about the multi-step form. So that is very important topic. Now from the next topic onwards, we're gonna jump into the designing part. So the first topic is going to be related to the designing of the portal is the content snippet, and that is very important session basically. So just stay tuned and thank you so much for listening this video. And in my next video, I'm going to discuss about the content snippet. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much. Bye bye.